Our class is in session. Let's pick up where we left off. This is Nicole Atkinson giving an interview to Colorado Bureau of Investigations the day before Shanann and the kids are found. Let's see what we can learn. We're here to learn about relationships and what we can glean from these tragedies.
They were on the phone with me because I called one of them and was like, have you, either one of you heard from Shanann? Because I hadn't heard from her either. So I started reaching out to people like, okay, if somebody's heard from her, at least then I don't have to worry.
Right. Okay, so you text her at 12:47 and you're going to her house.
Right.
What happens now?
So then I'm talking to, within all of this time frame, I talked to Chris, I think I called Chris again. I talked to Cassie and she said that she had talked to Chris and he was supposed to be at his house and be there in 30 minutes. And I was like, well, I'm on my way back. So I called Chris at 12:41.
12:49 you said?
12:41.
12:41.
I called him at 12:41.
Okay. Did you talk to him at that point?
I can't remember if I talked to him or he didn't answer.
Okay.
I don't remember because I called him again at 1:31 because by this time I'd already been back to the house.
Okay.
And Cassie had said that he was coming back and he'd be there in 30 minutes. So that was in the time frame that I was driving back to the house.
Okay.
So I don't remember if I talked to him, to be honest with you, at the 12:41.
Okay.
But I did talk to him at 1:31 because he wasn't home yet and he should have been there if it was only going to take him 30 minutes.
Right.
So, and by that time I called the Frederick Police Department at 1:31 because I called Chris at 1:31. I called Chris and said, Chris, where are you? You said you were going to be here in 30 minutes. He's like, I'm on my way. I'm on I-70. I'm 45 minutes out. I said, well, I'm calling the police to do a health and wellness check. And I honestly couldn't tell you at that point what he said or didn't say.
Okay.
The phone call was, I don't even know. I will tell you details. I had an incoming call at 12:41 and it lasted for 42 seconds. I think that was him calling me to ask me if I was still at the house messing with the door.
At 12:41?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then at 1:31, I called him and that's when I told him that, like, you're not here. And
So real quick, Chris Watts doesn't seem to be a good leader in any of the stuff he does, and not to say that he could have pushed off what's happening here. I think he could to a certain degree to take leadership. I mean, he was basically kicking the can down the road, and we've seen if you try to kick the can down the road in life in general or try to ignore problems, they just seem to fester. And the fact that he basically said, well, to Nicole, I don't know if you've heard, but we're getting divorced and I'm at work, and basically shoving her off. Well, women know power dynamics and women know social situations. And I think she felt pushed off and and women know leaders. And, and maybe Shanann said something about him, I don't know. But if he would have taken leadership and said, look, Nicole, I've got this. Like, I understand where my wife is, or I'll figure out where my wife is. I don't need your help. I'm at work, but let me go ahead and take the rest of the day off. I'll go ahead and, find her. I'm going to come home. I don't need your help, but I do appreciate it. If I do need it, I will give you a call. But thank you for your concern. I've got this. I don't need you, help me any further. I've got it. Just really nice, be nice, be respectful, but know how to command the leadership. You can't find my family. I know where they are. They're fine. But I'll go ahead and give Shanann a call. I'll figure out where she's at and I'll let you know, whatever. Now, the fact that, he can't produce Shanann, that's a big problem. Sometimes you can't, orchestrate leadership through things you've already done. I get it. But could he have, taken back frame, and could he have taken back control of this situation? Because the part of the reason he's not in control is because he's vacated control in the vacuum of power. That's going to happen in any situation. This is not exclusive to this case. In any situation where you vacate power, someone else will assume control. And Nicole has assumed control of the situation. She's called the police. Now you're reacting to what she's doing. He's now going to have to meet the police. Now he's going to have to confront them with, a search of his house. None of that did he plan, Could he have avoided it? We don't know. But lack of leadership will never get you there. I do understand certain situations, maybe just letting things go. If it was small and you did nothing wrong, she could call the police all day long and she could run this whole thing, and you don't always have to, give attention to things. But the fact that he is guilty, and he does need to get this, I'm just saying, and he we don't want him to avoid justice. But, let's think from Chris Watt's point of view, if he wants to get control of the situation, and as a man, we should want to be in control of our situations. You have to take leadership.
He still wasn't at the house by 1:52. I called again and was like, "Where are you?" But I had already called the police then, and they were on
What time
there.
did you call the police?
And when she said, "I already called the police," they were already, she knows she's taken frame. That's her recognizing. I already called the police. You ain't got no say in this, bitch. I'm in control. See, women know control. Women know power. Whether Chris knows or not, it doesn't seem like he does because he doesn't lead. He doesn't seem to know how to get out of situations. Even with Nicole stuff, all those prior videos out with Nicole, she was leading him. He gets led into this. He was led into this whole thing. Shanann was running him. So what's he do? He gets so mad and he gets, to a point where backed into a corner, he does some catastrophic stuff.
Or 1:33.
Did you call 911 or regular line?
I called the non-emergency line because I didn't know whether they would consider that an emergency or not, so I looked up the non-emergency line and called it.
Okay.
And then,
So then 1:52, you said you got another phone call? Or you
I called him again and I was like, "Where are you?" Because the police were there and they wanted to know how far out he was because we couldn't get in there.
And just to give you a consideration, you call 911, Houston Police Department, 22 years retired. Your non-emergency line and 911 get you to the same spot if you're calling any dispatch agency, and they will prioritize your 911 call or your non-emergency call. So 911 is just fine for any police. I know what she's doing, and she did the right thing, but just an added bonus of what we can learn. Don't worry about calling 911 or non-emergency. They get you to the same dispatch center.
He couldn't even get in the house.
Yeah.
He's like, "Well, I don't want to break down the door. She's not in there." So the police officer did. So he was checking windows and stuff and trying to figure out how he could get in. And then he said, he was like 10 or 15 minutes out or whatnot. I don't.
So the police officer's at the house. He can't hear anything. There's no answer. Police officers have to abide by the Fourth Amendment. They cannot enter structures or dwellings without a warrant unless there's exigent circumstances. If you can prove someone's in need of medical attention, and that's a hard burden to pass. Now if you see some blood or you see some broken stuff, but if you just see a home, nothing disturbed, and you've got a husband on the way, but what if someone's having a heart attack inside? Now the thing is that more than likely, if someone needs emergency medical attention, it's needed within like 5 minutes. This thing's already taken well over some hours. So whatever's happened, it's probably happened if it's a medical emergency. So, the officer waiting and being cautious is not a problem.
I really don't remember.
Okay.
It was a very short conversation. I can tell you how long it lasted. It was on the phone for 17 seconds, so if that tells you.
Sure. That's short.
Yeah. So then Chris gets there, and the police officer was like, "Do you know where your wife is?" And he was like, "No." And he's like, "Well, can you open your door so we can go inside?" And he wasn't there yet. And then I called her mom, because her mom had lived there too. So I called Cassie, because Cassie stayed with her, and then her mom stayed with her. So I was trying to get anybody to give us a code for the garage, because that was the only way to get in. So I let Chris go, and then I called her mom, and her mom didn't know what was going on. And I was like, "Sandy, do you have a code to Shannon and Chris's garage door?"
I thought she already had it.
She started giving me numbers, but none of them worked. And then I, of course, had to tell her what was
You already
going on.
went in.
I didn't call her before that because I didn't want to upset her if there was nothing to upset her about.
That's weird. She already went in the garage, though. You had the code. That's not why she was calling those ladies. She was calling to put them on notice and to... Why would you... No, she's already gone in the garage and tried to get in the house. That doesn't make sense. She had the code to the garage. That's weird. Anyway, I think she was calling her mom to get her... Now she's trying to get people spun up and get involved. and kind of relinquish some of the responsibility and to get on Chris's butt.
So, and then
That's covert female manipulation, in my opinion. And it's not bad. It's a feature, not a bug. She's getting the group, the herd to get on him. Because she clearly said she went in the garage earlier and she had the code and she couldn't get in the door because the lock on the inside door was done. What do you call them for code to the garage? You said you knew it. She specifically says she knows it. In the video I already did.
He opened the garage door.
Okay. So.
And it didn't
I'm sorry. There's a front door and then a back sliding glass door.
Yeah.
And is there a door through the garage as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're okay. It didn't dawn on me at the time because he went to open the front door so we could come inside. But when we walked into the garage, or when the garage door opened, he immediately opened the car door and then bolted for the house. Like, I've been trying to play this through my head so many times in the last 2 days.
Okay, let me see if I've got this straight. So he opens the garage door, and it's you and Chris.
He goes in the garage, opens the passenger door of the vehicle in the garage. Yeah, he's trying to block them. He knows he's guilty. There's something he was trying to, whether there's some evidence in the house that he was trying to get rid of real quick. Yeah, he's trying to block them, that's for sure. That kind of behavior just lit him up. He's so guilty.
The police officer, my 16-year-old, my 2-year-old, I think, was playing in the front seat of the car still at that point. And the neighbor might have been there by that point. The neighbor came over at some point.
Okay, so the garage door goes up.
Uh-huh.
And is Chris in first?
Yeah.
Who's behind him?
I think it was the police officer and my son.
Okay, so as Chris walks by, what car is in the garage?
It's a white Lexus.
Okay, is it one of the SUV type
yeah.
vehicles?
Like a Ford Explorer type version.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so he walks along the passenger side? I'm sorry, on the driver's side?
No, passenger side.
Passenger side.
And he opens the door. And it didn't...
Front or?
Front passenger door.
Front passenger door. Okay.
And I don't know why that's sticking out of my head, but it distracted all of us because I started looking at the car and then I looked to see if the girls' car seats were in there and whatever. And then he went and opened the front door and it, I didn't even dawn to go on the front door. We all went through the garage. But he went around and opened the front door, did whatever he did. And I'm not trying to incriminate the man, I don't know.
Yeah, he's guilty.
That's unusual.
And it doesn't explain things.
Okay. So let's see. So in the garage. Opens front passenger door.
Mm-hmm.
You think that was an effort to delay?
I don't know. And it could just be my mind. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to replay the events of what happened. It just was odd to me. If we're looking for them in the house, why did you open the car door?
Yeah.
It was odd.
That is unusual. Okay, so I assume that delay wasn't very long.
No, it was probably 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I don't even know. It wasn't that long. But we went in the house. But I know I was because I looked and the car seats were in there. And I'm if she's with friends, why are the car seats in? How many friends do you know carry around extra car seats?
Yeah, none.
So, yeah. So that's where, the more I thought about it since yesterday, I'm why did he open the car door? That's something you do after the fact, I think. I'd go inside and see if somebody was in there or if they were okay. So.
So then you inside.
We're inside.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And everybody kind of split. The police officer and him, everybody kind of split because we were looking for Cece and Bella and Shan. Everybody just kind of split up because at this point, I don't know what you guys are considering this or not considering this, but at this point, we all split up and we're just looking to see if we can find them. Downstairs, upstairs, everywhere. Every room, everywhere. We're just looking. And they're nowhere in the house. They're nowhere.
Okay.
Nowhere.
Can you describe the house, inside of the house for me? I mean, is it in shambles? Is it messy? Is it
No,
neat?
it's clean. It's neat.
Is
It's
it
clean.
always that way?
For the most part, I mean, the girls might have a couple toys out here or there, but no, it was really clean. And Shanann's, I'm sure you're going to go in her house at some point. She's very OCD. Everything's labeled. It has a...
Very OCD. Everything's labeled. We can glean from that and from what I've seen on videos, and that's a terror. That's someone miserable to live with. I'm just saying. I think she was hardcore on Chris, labeling stuff, having kids, trying to keep things clean. A lot of times the pressure will come down on people surrounding them. So, Yeah, that is a factor. And Nicole was a little bit different than that. And I think Chris felt, I think this is why you have to say stuff, and this is why you have to take leadership, and this is why I don't care if that ruins your relationship. Oh well, but if you're not going to put up with an OCD person, you can't just capitulate. You can't just concede, because you'll never win and you'll be miserable. A man does what a man wants to do, and if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. As long as you're a moral man and a man with integrity, you don't have to put up with a woman's OCD. And if she can't get that under control, then she needs to go. I mean, it's that simple. You don't have to live like that.
It doesn't move from that spot. If it does,
See?
if it's put back in that spot, yeah.
Miserable.
Do you notice anything unusual? Does it smell weird?
No, it just.
Is anything out of place that you
I would say
noticed?
it felt weird, but.
It felt weird.
It felt weird.
Let's talk about feeling weird.
I don't know, by that point it felt like it had an eerie feeling to it. My mind wasn't in a good place.
Okay.
Because it didn't, she never leaves that car. That car goes everywhere with her. I mean, unless she's out of town and Chris needs the car because he has the girls, they always have that. She's always in that car. So, and it was just weird to me that the car was there. Her shoes were by the front door.
Okay.
So
would it be fair to say that for her to leave the house without her shoes and that car
And purse and cell phone
for her?
yes.
and not answering it.
We went on. So
Yeah.
we all split up and were looking for things. And then I'm not sure how we all ended upstairs, but we all ended upstairs at one point, and Shanann makes her daughter's beds every day. Like, I've been upstairs, they were playing upstairs, I've seen their rooms. Those beds were not made.
That's
The little girls' beds were not made. Shanann's and Chris's bed was stripped.
okay.
All of the bedding was, and I don't know if all of the bedding, but the bedding was all over in the corners of the room. And I didn't touch it, I didn't go through it, I don't know like if sheets were missing or anything like that, but all of the bedding was stripped off the bed, which
And she's a detective. Sheets were missing. I think she is found in one of the bed sheets, buried in one. But yeah. But just going back to what we can glean, we're not here to so much for like I said in the first one, not to get the details of the case, which it is interesting, and we can't still do both at the same time. But we're trying to learn how to have good relationships and where we can have off ramps and where big mistakes were made. And again, one of them is leadership. And how awful must it feel as Chris Watts here? I know what he did was horrific. Again, there's no excuse for what he did. I'm not, he needs to be punished for what he did, and we're not excusing him from that. But we can empathize to a certain degree. We've all done some, minor things wrong, and just the feeling of that, this guy has done the unthinkable, and now he's got people that are about to find out. You don't want to go through this, and what I'm saying is to prevent this stuff is. You can't imagine what that feels like. That's why you have to live a purposeful life. That's why you have to live by your own code. That's why you can't let someone with OCD run you. That's why you have to, because look how much leadership he's lost. Look how this is spiraling out of control. And if you can only imagine what that feels like, that'll probably prevent you from getting to this point in life. You never would want to live like this. He's got to be horrified right now. He's got to be just totally going inside freaking. And that would be a horrible feeling. You don't ever want to deal with that. So live a purposeful life, live with integrity, live with morals, and make the right decisions and lead your relationships.
here. And then the police officer had asked if she had her phone on her, and we didn't know at that point. And then like 5 minutes later, my son was like rummaging through the pillows on the sofa, and he found her phone shoved down in the cushions on the sofa.
Okay.
No cell phone, no purse, no car,
Okay.
Okay, so
no shoes.
Just so I'm clear, so the girls' beds were not made, and that's unusual.
Yes.
Okay. And then the bedding for
Everything's unusual. Not answering the phone, not being on Facebook. I mean, it's pretty clear. Everything,
their bed, which I would say was in the master bedroom.
Yeah, you can see it from the stairs.
Okay, and it was all stripped off and then like piled in the corner, or?
Yeah, there was a pile over in, like, if you were facing the room this way and the bed's right here, there was piles in the corner, both of these corners.
Okay, so it's in two corners. Okay, so was it just a bare mattress that you saw?
Yeah, there was a mattress cover on it, but like I don't know if it was a mattress pad or just a mattress cover, but there weren't any sheets or blankets or pillows on it.
And he had the fans going.
They were all on the floor, which I thought was odd because Chanel usually doesn't start a project unless she's going to finish a project because of her OCD-ness.
OCD, and bringing that up again.
But Chris does all the laundry.
I mean, this is her friend. This is not Chris. This is her friend that is going to be as empathetic, or is going to be as nice as she can be about her OCD-ness. OCD, you know, that's going to manifest itself into some horrific kind of symptoms for a relationship. So Chris was going through it. I mean, you know, and for both sides, what can we learn on both sides of the relationship? For a man, you've got to establish dominance. You've got to establish leadership. You got to do what you want to do. It'll drive you crazy, and it'll drive you into this. And, you know, a lot of men, you know, death by 1,000 concessions. You can't concede, you know, because you risk these type of things. I mean, Chris Watts is, you know, in my opinion, you know, people will argue, but, you know, he's just a normal guy, you know, going through life, you know, and he got pushed, you know. And we all can get angry. Every single one from the world has gotten angry, has gotten severely angry. Now, that's obviously not to this point because we can control ourselves. But you don't want to get to this point. You know, relationships are very sensitive, you know, and so my point is that, you know, for men especially, you know, you can make a joke to guys, and, you know, I made a joke the other day when I was, you know, visiting a doctor's appointment, and, you know, I said to the nurse, I said, you know, every man's wanted to kill a bitch before, you know, just as a joke, you know, and she laughed because she knows it's true, you know, but that's, you know, because most men don't have the leadership. And when I didn't have leadership, you know, I had moments like that in my life. Like, I just want to, you know, you got to solve problems way before they get to this point. That's just my point of this, is take control, take leadership. When you get to a point of wanting to do violence to a woman, you know, and every man will confront this because we are inherently violent people as men. We know that's how we solve problems. We know happy, we know anger. And how we solve anger is through violence. And that's not a good thing. So you should get beyond, notice the emotion, interpret the emotion, and then understand you want to act responsibly or act properly, you know. But people and men oftentimes, you know, and this is 22 years as a law enforcement officer, arresting domestic violence perpetrators and gladly arresting domestic violence perpetrators, putting my life on the line to protect victims of domestic violence. So, you know, thinking that I support domestic violence, who would? You know, who would? But I put my butt on the line to say, no, we're not going to do this, you know, and put my own safety and my own life, you know. So anyone that wants to come at me and think that I support abuse would be hugely mistaken. You know, unless you put your life on the line just like I have to prevent it. So anyway, we don't support that. So, but oftentimes we get to an abusive state because we don't have the strength to do the right thing. We don't have the strength to take action on the right. We don't have the strength to, you know, there's a choice to be made, and you need to take action on that choice. And oftentimes we know if we don't have the emotional strength to do it. And so we get frustrated and we lash out with violence. That's not good. Have the emotional strength. Do the right thing when it presents itself. And if you can't, notice that's your own weakness, not her fault, because that'll prevent you from getting that angry and say, I'm the one that's weak. I need to take action.
So if Chris left for work, why was the bed stripped? And he says he takes care of all the laundry, does all the laundry. So that was the other thing. And I know they're silly little things, but like, why would he strip the bed before he went to work if Shannon was still there sleeping in it?
Okay. You said the pillows were on the ground too?
Yes.
Did you happen to notice the covers were on the pillows?
I didn't.
Okay. What color sheets were on the bed or were laying in the pile?
They were white.
White.
Any blankets or anything like that you noticed?
Yeah, there was blankets. I couldn't tell if, like I said, they have like a down comforter or a duvet.
Okay.
That was on the floor. I don't know if it had an actual cover on it or not, or if it was there. Like I said, I didn't touch. I tried to touch as least as possible.
Okay.
Because, at that point, bad thoughts were going through my head.
Okay, so after you leave anything else in the master bedroom that you
Well, we
noticed?
weren't in the master bedroom. I just saw that from I peeked in the door and saw it. I didn't
Okay.
actually go in yet. So then I turned around and the police officer had asked if she had her phone. And then Chris comes out of the master bedroom and says she left her wedding ring on the nightstand.
Haha.
I didn't see it on the nightstand, but he brought it out and had it in his hand.
Why would he do that? This guy has no plan. He obviously took it off her finger when she left.
Did she
Or when he
have
took her out.
in Arizona?
Mm-hmm. It was on her hand.
That's
She
bad.
did it. I mean, I don't think the only time I've ever seen her take it off was when she had her neck surgery. Because she can't have jewelry on when we have surgery.
Alright, tell me more about the phone.
So my son, like I said, he was rummaging through the pillows because we were trying to see if her phone was there. Because if it was, it's usually where people normally put phones or whatever, by the bed or whatever. I don't know why he chose to look in the sofa, but he did. He's a 16-year-old. I don't know. So
Where is this sofa?
it's right outside. They have so you have Chris's and Shanann's room right here. Then there's a playroom over here and bathroom. And then there's a laundry room right outside their bedroom. And then there's a family room, and then across the hall is the girls' rooms. Like not a hall, but the corridor or whatever you want to call it, the family room.
Okay.
The girls' rooms are right across there.
And is this a 2-story home? Okay.
It's Wall Street. It's got a basement too.
Okay.
So my son found the phone, and it was stuffed under the cushion.
Yeah, I'm sorry, where is the couch again? So it's in the family room?
Yeah, it's right outside their bedroom, maybe 5-10 feet from the bedroom.
Okay.
I don't know, 10 feet, I guess, because it's you have to walk around the corner and over to it.
Okay, he just starts taking off the cushions?
Yeah, he was just, because it's one of those couches that has base cushions, and then it's got a whole bunch of throw pillows on it. So he picked up the phone, and it wasn't on.
Okay.
And then at that point, because I had called her mom and I had called Cassie, we were all on the phone together and they were on speaker. So they heard everything that was going on and everything that was being said. And the police
As you're walking through the house?
yeah, because her mom was saying, look here, see if Chris is here. And I'm like, Sandy, calm down, let's first see if she's in the house. So
See how the herd gets
we got
everybody
the phone,
involved?
And Chris turned it on. The police officer asked him to turn it on. So they turned it on, and then it needed a code. I didn't know the code, but Cassie knew the code. It was the baby's due date.
Okay.
So we put that in, and then the last text and call that she made was to Chris. Because they popped on he started doing stuff to it, Chris did. Shanann's phone's an iPhone, I can't run iPhones, yeah.
Did you happen to see what time that last text was?
I didn't. And I don't know if it was a text, it was just on the call log or whatever. I'm pretty sure I don't know even if it said Chris, I just not started to see it, because it said Cassie, whoever texted her last, I don't know. So then I walked away from the phone. I went downstairs because Sandy was like, Nikki, go look and see if the girls' meds are there. Because Cece, the 3-year-old, well, Bella too, but not as bad as Cece. They both have asthma, but Cece's highly allergic, EpiPen, anaphylactic shock allergic to tree nuts. So Shanann always carries those stuff on her, their inhalers, their EpiPens and stuff like that. So her mom said, go see if you can find the girls' medicine. So I went downstairs and I looked in the cupboard where I knew the medicine was. And I didn't see it, and I didn't even notice it till a couple times passing or whatever. The thing that she carries them in, it was on the counter, but it was under the cupboard and it was back in the corner, and I just I don't know. franticness, wasn't paying attention, but it was there. So she did not know if the girls was meds with her. And then, because we found the phone, she was like, is her purse there? And I'm like, I don't see it anywhere. So then I started rummaging through the house trying to find a purse, and I didn't find it. Didn't find it. And I'm like, no, her purse isn't here. I was like, so maybe she did go somewhere with the girls, like thinking that she did. And then, it was odd to me because there was a pair of CC shoes right outside her shoe closet. And then there was a pair of shoes right by the back door. I think they were Bella's. And then for whatever reason, there was 2 pairs of shoes of the girls' shoes out on the back porch on a chair. And I mean, Shanann, the girls have a blanket out and she's dirty and picks up after them. I mean, they very rarely have stuff scattered everywhere. So I found that to be odd, but I'm like, oh, maybe CZ wouldn't pick what shoe she was on and she was in a hurry because she needed to go. I don't know. So those were out, and then we went over to the neighbor's house because he said, the cop had asked questions I couldn't tell you. Like at that point I wasn't really paying attention. I was trying to go look for things that her mom was asking me to look for. She asked me to check the knives. I'm like, no, all the knives are here on the counter, like the butcher block or whatever. She asked me to go down in the basement and look just to make sure. I went downstairs. Stuff like, I mean, she was like telling me, because she lived there, she's like, did you check her shoe closet? She has this amazing shoe closet in her office that her dad built her, sorry. But I was like, Sammy, like, they're not here. I don't know what to say. They're not here. Then at some point, the neighbor said he has security cameras that face the driveway. And he said it only picks up motion. So he has it time clocked of when I dropped her off and when I left, but it doesn't show Shanann getting out of my car, and she got out of my car and got her luggage and then went up to the house. And I backed up, but I sat there for a second to make sure she made it in the house and shut the door and everything was fine. I can confirm she was in that house. And
she went in through the front door.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, yeah. And I don't know if she flipped the lock after, I don't know. But she did go through the front door. And then he had security camera of that, and then he had security camera of Chris backing up his work truck to their garage at 5:18 in the morning and loading something up in it.
Yep. There it is.
And that's when my mind went bad, like really.
There you go. Yeah, Chris loading up something. So she gets home at 2 in the morning on Sunday. Supposedly they had sex. And then there's a discussion, and I think that, everything goes down from 2 in the morning Monday till 5, that 5:18 loading something up. And he did admit to strangling her. So something went bad there. But your relationship should never get there. You as a man need to understand, lead a relationship. Never let yourself get to that point, of anger. And everything is your fault anyway. Understand you have to take responsibility of everything. You can't put things on other people, But I'm sure Chris didn't realize that everything that was going on in his life was his bad strategy. And normally, well, our egos try to protect us. We want to protect ourselves, saying, well, it's not my fault. Well, things are your fault. Always learn to lead. It's not easy every day leading a relationship. It's not. But that's your job as a man. There's going to be a lot more things to learn in this. We're almost done. It's over. We're over halfway. But I'll cut it up in probably 2 more videos. But anyway, that's all we got for now. See you on the next one.